It's the Fulhamish podcast, your independent voice of Fulham FC. My name's Sammy James. Welcome to the show. Today it is the Thursday Club. We'll look ahead to our game up at Newcastle on Saturday. There are no trains, there are some planes. It's going to be a long old journey up to the northeast. Can we avoid making it 4 defeats on the spin? Newcastle, obviously, they're a Champions League club, but they haven't been finding it too easy in the league this season. So hopefully we can arrest the losing streak. We'll also have a little bit of a look ahead to Wycombe in the Carabao Cup, and we will dive into the latest surrounding Marco Silva. He's staying at Craven Cottage for now. Looks like he's got a contract on the table, but there's an awful lot going on. So we'll get into all of that, plus a load of your questions as ever. I'm joined on the Thursday Club today by George Cooper. Hello.
Hi, Sammy. First time back on the Thursday Club in a while. It's nice to be occupying Jack's vacant seat for today.
Yeah, Jack, had bigger and better paying gigs, to be honest, than to do the Fulhamish Thursday Club. So thank you very much for stepping in. And we are joined by potentially the suavest looking guest I think we've ever had on the Thursday. You have to go and watch this on YouTube just to see his outfit. Youssef Khoumari, former English lightweight champion. How are you doing, sir?
Feeling fantastic today. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, mate, absolute pleasure. And George, talk about this outfit.
I like. You see some people wearing some vintage Fulham garments, but it's the full tracksuit. I want to say it's 2001. Is it?
I think 2001.
Yeah. So black and red. I mean, the full get up. It's quite something. Yeah. How did you find the piece?
Do you know what? I find myself a lot of the time scrolling away on my phone, like towards the end of the night when I've got nothing to do. And one thing I've been doing recently, I've been going on Vinted and sort of just typing random things in and seeing what pops up. So I'll type in, Stone Island Vintage or CP Vintage and see what comes up and just have a little browse. I thought, hold on, why don't I type in Fulham Vintage, see what comes up? And this came up.
Yeah.
And I thought, nah, that's too good to be true. Nah, this ain't right. Had a look at it, and I went, nah, that's got to be a wind-up or a scam or something. So I left it initially. 2 or 3 weeks later, I thought, go on, let me go back up on Vinted, see if it's still there. It's still there. And the price has dropped. And I thought, nah, do you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it. I said, I'll go for it and I'll forget about it. Like, if it turns up, it turns up. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And it turned up looking like this, and I couldn't believe it when it come through the door.
I actually don't know if I'd wear anything else if I owned that. Yeah. I think I'd be turning up to weddings and they're like, Sammy, you've worn the Fulham tracksuit again. And I was like, you need to wear a suit. I was like, I know, but look at this. No, it's also, I mean, obviously people watching on YouTube can only see the top, but it's also the matching tracksuit bottoms as well. Yeah. Lovely.
I didn't expect it to look as good when it turned up, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Oh, mate. Youssef, obviously you are a very well-known boxer, but you're also big Fulham fan, home and away. Sometimes we're like, let's get this guest on, but how many Fulham games do they really go to? You, sir, I know, are there following the Fulham, well, I'd say over land and sea, but we haven't had too many opportunities to go overseas in recent years, but certainly all over the country. When did the Fulham bug start, and how did you get into it?
Growing up, I'd always been a football fan, a fan of football, you'd say, but I never really felt any attachment to any sort of club or team, because I think growing up, I never really had that tradition in my family where, you support your local and that sort of. I never really had that tradition. I grew up in North West London where there isn't necessarily a local team either. A lot of the people in my school supported, at the time, the big four. It was Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal and Liverpool.
Yeah.
And I thought that was it might sound a bit harsh, but I thought it was such a shallow thing to do, just support one of the big four who was winning all the time. So I didn't really want to attach myself to any of them clubs. So I thought I'd just watch football here and there and enjoy it. Till one day, one of my mates, who was a Fulham season ticket holder, invited me down for a cup game against, I think it was Bolton in the cup.
Right.
I think 2008, 2009. I'm not too sure what year.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, you can have a ticket. But for some reason, I had this notion that football tickets were hundreds of pounds. And
they are now.
Yeah, they are now, yeah. So he said they're doing kids for a quid. Obviously, in them years, I'd qualify for kids for a quiz. So, yeah, go on then. I'll get a ticket and I'll come down. And I think turning up to the ground the first day, seeing a club that kept its tradition, kept, maybe you could say, its values, more so in them days, of making the fans feel not so much a consumer, but more a part of the club, is what drew me in. Because to be honest, the game was rubbish. We drew 1-1, we had to replay them up north. It was rubbish. But I think the welcome I got from the staff in the club shop, in the ticket office, and of course in the stands. I sat in the Johnny Ains for the first time. That was the first place I've sat. And yeah, it was just a bug. And I think I saw the Hammersmith fan that day, and I saw how whenever the team would charge the Hammy and they'd get up, and I wanted to sit there next time. And I thought, I want to go and sit in there and see what that was like. Sat in there, and then I heard everyone up at the back, and I went, I want to sit at the back next time with H5, everyone else. Then I went back into H5, and then from there, I think the bug just kept going and going. Then it was, I want to go away. Then I want to go way further up north, and it just kept going and going, and here we are.
Mate, that sounds beautiful. It's brought a smile to my face just hearing that story. It's just genuinely, that is how it happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, my first game to Craven Cottage, I sat in the Riverside, and it was similar story, and then I was like, it looks fun in the Hammersmith end. It looks real fun in the Hammersmith end. And before you know, and yeah, do your first away game. Okay, maybe you go to Brighton away. And then before you know it, you just want to go more and more and more. And that bug. And I really hope that we haven't lost that appeal of the way that you got into Fulham. I don't think fully it's gone, but like there's chances that it have. So now, Hammersmith end season ticket holder.
Yeah. Hammersmith end, back at H5.
Lovely. And you've done a few, I know you're definitely at Brighton away, because I saw you managed to actually, you videoed like Rodrigo Muniz's goal I saw on your Instagram post. It was a really good video of it. I've got a little bit of a weird one. You're at Bournemouth, right?
Yes, I was.
Right. I was at Bournemouth as well. We haven't met each other before today, but we've been chatting a lot on Instagram. I could have sworn I heard, it might have just been your mates, but were some mates chanting your name?
Yeah. They were, yeah.
I just was there going like, there was just a few lads at the back going, oh, Youssef Khoumari. And I was like,
is that a new signing?
I mean, I think some.
It's so embarrassing. Oh my God. Literally, when they do it, I just literally get my jacket and I go like that.
How's the boxing going as well? You mentioned that you're still in training because you never know when the next fight's going to be.
Yeah, I'm at a stage where, the phone could ring any moment. I could walk outside after this and there could be a message there saying, do you want to fight in a couple of weeks or 3 or 4 weeks? So I've always got to be ready to pull the trigger, So I'm in the gym 6 days a week, almost at what we would say training camp level. So, full intensity, sparring maybe once or twice a week. And yeah, I'm ready to go, Unfortunately, I lost my title in the last fight. I was English champion. I lost my title in the last fight. But, boxing's a great metaphor for life in a sense where it's a roller coaster ride. Life throws lemons at you and boxing's going to throw all sorts at you. So it's just about picking yourself back up and dusting yourself off and going again. And, I'm ready.
I saw that obviously you won the English lightweight title and you paraded it on the pitch at Craven Cottage. And I saw you say that obviously winning that belt was the biggest thing of your life, but then parading it at Craven Cottage was a close second, right?
Probably first, to be honest. Do you know what? How it come about was a funny one because after I'd won the belt, I was back in the gym. I had nothing to do, so I ended up back in the gym training anyway. And my coach was like, "Oh, do you have any contacts for anyone at the club? Anyone in marketing?" Or I was like, "Not myself. I can potentially get you an email of someone or something." So I got him an email, gave it to him. I thought, "Yeah, go on, crack on. You're not getting anywhere with that." And I think later on in the day, the Fulham official account followed me on Instagram, liked it, shared up the picture of me with the Fulham shirt in the ring and all that. And I went, "No, I thought that was the ceiling." Do you know what I mean? I thought it doesn't get better than this. And then I got a message saying, would you be up for coming on the pitch and walking out with it? Oh. And I was like, that's got to be a wind up, innit? That's always my first reaction is, it's got to be a wind up. But turned out to be true. And I think that moment, I'll be honest, and I'd say I wish I enjoyed it more while it happened. I think I was so nervous about what reception I'd get. I was so nervous about, us losing at half time and no one being interested or maybe getting a bad reception or something that I didn't really get to enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I did enjoy it. I could have enjoyed it a bit more. It's something that will last as one of the core memories in my life for maybe a long, long time, especially because I've been going so long and seeing people walk week in, week out, walk out onto the pitch and, speak about their achievements at Fulham and stuff. And for me to be able to be part of that long list of people who've done that, it's also, if it still feels surreal.
Yeah.
At this moment, that I've actually done it. Like I'd be at the Cottage this season, for example, someone would walk out. I think Steve Silva walked out at the Arsenal game. I was like, hold on a second, that was me about a year ago. You know what I mean?
Mad. Did you get to see any of did you go inside the Cottage or anything?
No, I was in hospitality.
Yeah.
for that game.
Nice.
Yeah, so and it's really nice what they've done. We should have it all the time.
Yeah, they treated you well. That's good. That's good. I mean, I saw that Fulham have applied for a license for music concerts, but what I say is, why can't that include boxing matches?
I'd love for that to happen.
That would be mad.
Come on.
I'd love for that to happen.
That's what we need to happen.
One day.
Just get
One
your
day.
agent next fight on,
Yeah.
on your terms. Just like I'm doing it at Craven
We need to get a different email address for that one to happen, but we'll make it happen. Look, let's have a final word on Arsenal on Saturday. Obviously disappointing to lose 3 in a row, George. I mean, you guys covered it really well, I think, on the podcast and the quick take. You probably actually fed up of talking about the Arsenal game. You've kind of probably done it to death a little bit. I think with a bit of hindsight, I think the general mood has been actually mostly we played all right. There are some concerns. Obviously, no shots on target is a really easy stat to pull up and say, oh, Fulham should be doing better. But I just don't think that we can judge Fulham on playing that Arsenal side, and especially now in the knowledge we're here on Wednesday, absolutely battered Atletico Madrid last night. Like,
Yeah.
you got to sometimes take your hat off and be like, they're the best team in the country. We pushed them pretty close, but we weren't quite good enough, and I don't think it makes or breaks our season in the slightest.
No, not at all. I think we did admirably considering the injuries that we had. Played very well on the day, and we were, just undone by a corner by Arsenal. And we won't be the first team that suffers a similar fate. I think I saw a comment on the YouTube video of the podcast, which I thought kind of rung true. That is that in isolation, that game, no cause for concern whatsoever. But when you look at the wider picture of our story so far, we are 1 Leeds own goal difference from being just above the relegation zone, which is obviously more concerning. There are issues there, the lack of creativity being one. We spoke about it on the podcast. But yeah, in overall, I think it was a good showing from Fulham, all things considered.
Yeah, and I hate sometimes I think doing a podcast, Youssef, you can be over positive for the sake of it because it feels good to be positive, and it's never nice to be critical. But I can't help but look at the results this season. We're on 8 points, but if you break it down game by game, obviously, look, individual matches, like we probably shouldn't be losing to Bournemouth when we're 1-0 up with 12 minutes to go. But in isolation, if you look at every result, Brighton, United, Chelsea, Leeds, Brentford, and then the Bournemouth, Villa, Arsenal, actually 8 points is a pretty satisfactory return from that. I don't really know where you could be. There's no game where you're like, like last season where we lost to Wolves and you're like, well, that's 3 points, 100% gone. It could happen down the line. But right now I'm looking at it and thinking Fulham are about where I would expect them to be. It would be nice to be surprised and to have got a good result out of it. But we have had a tough start, especially when you consider the other teams and their general expectations and the spending, etc.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually speaking to someone about this the other day. We haven't had the easiest start to the season.
No.
As what people maybe judge. I think a lot of people are comparing it to last season, where I think we had a better start to the season last season. And, I think we need to take into account things like what you said. Arsenal just smashed Atletico 4-0 last night, and we pushed them all the way to the wire. And the fact that we're in that game up until the 90th minute is a positive. Like you're saying, it is good to be positive all the time, but it is a positive because a lot of other teams would have rolled over. But we were in it to the 90th minute. But I think that the frustrating thing for me, being a Fulham supporter, is we were in such a good position going into the end of last season. I think we just missed out on Europe, right?
Yeah.
And I think what I feel like, even though we've had a tough run of games to start the season, is we haven't built on the progress we'd made. We're either, in my opinion, at the exact same level or maybe a bit below where we were last season, which is frustrating because Marco's taken us so far from when he's become manager of our club, right? And because of the progression we've had, we sort of expect progression every year. And me, myself, I did expect progression again. I mean, we almost just missed out on Europe. I was thinking, maybe we'll get a few more signings in and we could push this year. But it seems like, maybe we'll have to wait another season or another 2 seasons. But like I said, it is what it is. It's good to be positive. We pushed Arsenal to the wire and we have had our tough start to the season. So hopefully, maybe around Christmas time, the table starts to take shape and we'll see exactly where we are.
Yeah, I mean, the next 4 games are either against, in the Premier League, are either against teams in the bottom half or they're promoted teams. I know that Newcastle away is not exactly one that you'll say like, oh, that's a winnable match. But there are some fixtures coming. And look, I think Everton away is going to be incredibly difficult. They've had a good start to see. In all honesty, other than the Wolves game, and actually in some ways that's looking like a banana skin, given the fact that they might go into that game without a win, and you just know. But in lots of ways, yes, I think like the pressure now is on in order to start picking up points. The players know that. Let's come on to Marco Silva, because it's been such a big talking point at the start of the week. I think you guys did the podcast on Monday without all of the facts, really, because it all sort of developed on Monday evening. We all know that Ange got sacked after 19 minutes and that Forest showed an interest in Marco Silva. They were also interested in Roberto Mancini. And there was a moment on Sunday where I genuinely was like, I was like, oh, please don't, this can't be happening. But anyway, they've gone with Sean Dyche. He now is the Forest manager. So that initial concern has gone. And then David Ornstein tweeted to say Fulham owners have told Marco Silva of desire to extend contract, which currently includes £15 million release clause. Goodwill all round, but no detailed talks yet, as focus is on FFC season, and 48-year-old tends to keep options open until decision time, which, George, I can't work out if that was... It's like... I learned a lot and yet learned nothing in a tweet. It was kind of like, Fulham want to keep Marco Silva. Okay, I kind of knew that, but good to get it clarified. Goodwill all round, cool. Yeah, I thought there was, and he likes to keep his options open. So yeah. I feel it tells us a lot, but also not a lot.
Also, like, we already know that Marco likes to keep people guessing until the last minute. Maybe it's a negotiation tactic. Obviously, whenever you go into any decision like that, it's good to have all the options on the table. I was relieved to hear that there's goodwill all round, to be honest, because there have been whisperings of, Marco getting a little bit frustrated. He's been on press conferences, during the end of the transfer window, saying that he wasn't getting the resources that he felt like he deserved or needed. So I'm relieved to hear that it seems to all be, in good faith. There's no unrest there, according to Ornstein, obviously. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to make of the release clause, but yeah, overall, I'm happy to hear that, and it makes me hopeful that he will stay. I want Marco to stay, so yeah, I guess it's positive overall. I don't know. What do you make of it?
I guess I think that, I don't know about you, Youssef, but I really do. I just don't know why I don't see Marco staying beyond next summer. I feel like it's going to be the end of his 5th year at Fulham. He feels more and more frustrated. I wonder if he feels like he might have taken Fulham as far as he can. I argued with a few people on X, as I love to do, and said that I really didn't see why he should leave now. I felt like it would be a mad decision to leave mid-season for Forest and jump into that absolute bin fire. But I do see him going in the summer. I hate to say it, I don't want to wish it into existence. I'd love Marco to stay. Stability, I think, is the best thing that we can hope for. But I don't know. I've just not been convinced for a while that he will stay beyond next season. So it's encouraging that it seems like it's open, but I don't know. What do you think?
It's definitely encouraging. I mean, like George said, towards the end of the transfer window, when he was a bit unhappy with how it went and him not getting the players in the time frame he wanted, it was a bit worrying, because how long is he going to go until he feels the board aren't giving him the backing he feels he deserves? Because, like I said earlier, he's taken us from the Championship to the Premier League, made us a stable Premier League club, and maybe pushing for Europe as well. But maybe he feels as well, with a little bit more investment or a little bit more backing, we could have got improved on last season, we could have built on last season, and maybe being in a lot stronger position going into the games we've had starting. I hope this hasn't made him feel his ceiling with the club, or the fact that they're not backing him as much as he'd like makes him feel this way. But he's someone I love to stay. He's almost, I feel, part of the furniture of the club now, especially how he's turned us around. And it's almost hard to imagine anyone else in the dugout now, other than Marco's in it. He's been there for not many years, but through a lot of ups. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think we've had a longer serving manager in my lifetime. Like, it's remarkable. As you say, it's hard to, Fulham managers used to change every year or two. And now we've got someone that's been here, over 4 years, coming up to 5 years by the end of end of the summer, and it's weird, isn't it, that Fulham actually would keep hold of someone, and when they've been successful as well, because normally that's the other thing, is when, you know, we had Hodgson, who was so successful, and he got pinched. I think one thing, George, I thought at the weekend that was quite striking was seeing that Palace-Bournemouth game 3-3, and these are two clubs that are just doing so well in the Premier League this season and have been really ambitious, particularly Bournemouth with their spending. And I just wonder if Marco's there looking at what Fulham have and looking, you know, I don't think he's necessarily expecting us to be Spurs or Chelsea or Arsenal or Liverpool kind of spending, but he might be looking at teams of caliber of Palace and Bournemouth and just thinking we could have been that with just a little bit more. And that's why I just wonder if he'll think that a leopard will never change its spots in terms of the way this club is run.
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, I think it's also important to note that, you know, Glasner very nearly walked at the end of this transfer window over the whole Mark Gahey debate. Like, he's voiced frustrations at transfers, and I think that, like, the grass isn't always greener. You know, I feel like at every club there's frictions between ownership and management, and, you know, managers aren't always getting what they want and the transfers that they want and this, that and the other. It's just part of being an elite manager, is being incredibly demanding, and sometimes the expectations aren't always met. Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's just there's a big feeling throughout the club of what if, you know, things have been different. We've got some few more transfers through the door, but ultimately I do question where Marco would go, where he feels like he'd be in a more comfortable, better, you know, position where he could go on and, you know, do bigger and better things. Obviously, he's a fantastic manager and, like, he will succeed wherever he goes, but I can't quite see where he could go that he'd be in a much better situation.
The issue I wonder is if he signs a contract now, that's almost a statement to say that you're committed to the club next season, effectively, isn't it? But if you were Marco, you probably want to keep your options open in the summer, right? You probably want to get to the end of the season by April, May, June. You know which managers probably at which clubs are gonna get the chop. I.e., you know, did Juventus finish 6th? Okay, well therefore the Juventus jobs are gonna come up. Or is PSG gonna have a change? Is someone gonna retire or something like that? Obviously, there's gonna be a lot of shuffling in the summer as well, because I think a lot of international managers are gonna quit after the World Cup. So there's gonna just be quite a bit of a merry-go-round. But if Marco holds out that long, then Fulham are going to be in panic stations. If this comes to April, May, and we've got a manager whose contract literally expires in the summer, we're going to be in panic stations. So I'm a little bit like Youssef, who blinks first here? Because I guess the cards are in Marco's hand, but the longer he waits, Fulham are going to have to start thinking up backup options and almost preparing for life after Marco. He can't push it too far. And also, his lack of stability will impact the club's ability to do business, because lots of players are going to be like, well, I don't even know who your manager is going to be next season, so I'm not going to commit to you guys.
So I think the scariest thing is how many jobs he's been linked with since he's been Fulham manager. Especially this was come up now and they're trying to get him on the new contract and stuff. It may attract more eyes, especially like you're saying, there's not only the jobs in the Premier League, there's jobs in Italy that are going to come up, jobs in Spain are going to come up. And I think what's going to make it hard for us is how well he's done. The style of football he plays. I don't know, it's a difficult one, because I'd love for him to stay, but you got to put yourself in his shoes at the same time. And if, like we were saying, if he feels as if he could go somewhere else and he'd get the backing he's wishing for at Fulham, what's really to stop him going? You know, us, we're Fulham through and through regardless.
Yeah.
But, you know, majority of the guys on the pitch and the managers, to them, not in a bad way, to them, it's a job. It's them picking up a wage, right? And if he feels like he could achieve more, it's sad to say, I don't see what would stop him going, you know? Nonetheless, I hope the club, you know, convince him that they'd be backing him all the way. And I think that'll be the turning point in him going or staying, is whether they make him believe they're going to invest in him and invest in what he sees is going to bring the club further.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if this is like particularly ITK knowledge or whatever, but, you know, I was told that Marco certainly was interested in that Spurs job that came up in the summer. And, like, who can blame him? Like it's Tottenham, right? Like as much as we joke at Tottenham and laugh about Tottenham, like ultimately they are just a bigger fish than Fulham. They went for Frank in the end, but Marco was there. I've always just thought Marco will wait for the right job to come up. It's just why the whole contract thing for now, I can't see what's in it for him to sign one right now, because short of us saying, okay, actually, no, Marco, we're going to give you a war chest to go and spend. And I actually don't know if Fulham can give him that, given the PSR restrictions that we have. I don't know if it's really that easy for Fulham to be like, oh no, we're gonna spend 150 million this summer. I just genuinely don't think Fulham can afford to do that. So it's interesting seeing this statement, but just my gut tells me I don't see what's in it for Marco right now to sign a contract. I'd love him to.
Yeah, it will go to the wire. It will. As you predicted, it will be panic stations. You've got Marco, incredibly stubborn, and I think the powers that be up top can be so as well. And it's how it's panned out these last time these conversations have come up.
The funny thing was,
contracts.
2 years ago, it was around this time where he did sign the new contract. So I think Fulham will want to get this done before Christmas. I guess the only thing to be said is that's why the release clause is in there, so that he can get his dream Champions League job if he wants. But then it kind of leaves me. It's one of those. It'll be a bit one of those contracts like Polina signed, where you're just like, well, what's the point? Like, he's gonna go. It's just, it doesn't really do all that much, because it just still doesn't commit him to be here next season. Well, look, we're going to leave it there for the post-Arsenal chat and the Silva chat. Next up, we'll look ahead to Saturday's game away up at Newcastle. Part 2 of the Fulhamish podcast. Sammy here with George and Youssef Khoumari. Youssef, some boxing questions on the way. But first of all, Youssef, a much more important question. If you wanted to get away in Europe for a nice getaway, maybe between fights, what place, what country or city would you choose?
I've always been interested in going to Portugal.
Yeah, have you ever been?
I was there for a bit during COVID.
Yeah.
I want to go and see what it's like without all the restrictions.
Well, you can get there without restrictions now. And from Lisbon, there are plenty of options on My Kind of Cruise, the world's first cruise booking app and website. You can go from Lisbon to Puerto Rico. You can head on a 5-night cruise from Lisbon to Genoa, or maybe you can go up to the Arctic on a Lisbon to Galveston cruise. Lots of different options with My Kind of Cruise, the world's first cruise booking app and website, founded by a fellow Fulham fan. They've got unbeatable prices and just a huge range of cruises from all around the world. You can even, on cruises, watch all the Fulham games as well. So they've all got all the 3 p.m. kickoffs, sun on your face, drink in your hand, absolutely perfect. So if you're looking to book a cruise for either winter or for summer 2026, download the app from either the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, or head to mykindofcruise.com and use the discount Fulhamish for an exclusive cruise discount. So Youssef, you can go on your Lisbon cruise, use the discount code, save yourself some coin.
Definitely looking at the summer now.
Yeah, there we go.
my kind of cruiserweight.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Very good. Why they pay you some bucks. It is Newcastle away on Saturday up in the northeast. Transport is a nightmare, George, but once you get there, you were there at university, a very, very fun city.
Yeah, the best. Friendly people, amazing night out, cheap drinks. It is pound for pound the best away. I was planning on going up there. I was really excited for it. I was going to stay with my mate Josh up there, and then trains were saying otherwise. It's just like an absolute nightmare journey. You got to, like I was looking at it today, you got to get the train from King's Cross up to Leeds, and then you got to get a replacement coach from Leeds to Doncaster, and then you got to get up from Doncaster to Newcastle. And yeah, it's kind of put me off a little bit. Plane's also ridiculously expensive.
Oh my god, the plane is so expensive. The plane was about £500 return. I was like, are you joking?
Yeah, I mean, I love that city, but not that much. Looking at the cruises actually, but can we do a Southampton to Newcastle? Might be a bit of a bougie
they do
away day.
They do cruises from Newcastle.
Right, Newcastle to Ireland, is it?
But yeah, no, obviously, I mean, we could have got that arranged with my kind of cruise. We could have
missed
spoken.
the trick there.
We could have spoken to Sefton. We could have done the cruise from London up to Newcastle.
Yeah, but Newcastle's away is one of the best ever. It's like one of my favourite ever away days is when Cess got that brace and Tim Reed missed the penalty when we won 3-1.
Yeah.
That was just the epic game. And it's a real football city, Newcastle. It's just like, most cities, the ground is sort of on the outskirts in the sort of industrial land where it's cheaper land, whereas in Newcastle it's like a cathedral, like bam, right in the heart of the city. And the buzz around match day is something else. So shame to be missing it, obviously be watching it, but I'm not feeling too hopeful though in terms of like the actual game, really.
Yeah, I mean, Youssef, it's interesting with Newcastle this season. Very up and down, but like ultimately they're a point ahead of us in the table. So I might look, and instantly I'm like, oh no, Newcastle away, no chance. But we won their last season. Their form has been patchy, but then again, it's Newcastle, right? Like they are strong at home. They really need the win. So I think it's going to be a bit of a backs to the wall operation for Fulham, and especially if we've still got some injuries going into it.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. I think I remember reading years ago their pitch isn't exactly level. They've got a gradient on the pitch.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know if it's still there, but I read something on the internet and I don't know if it was a wind-up or something, but apparently their pitch is on a gradient.
Oh, right.
And they get the opposing team, the away team, to attack the gradient in the second half.
Really?
So, yeah, and apparently some of the players have said they felt it as the game's going on and they felt the legs tire. But I think
so. Winning the coin toss at the beginning is possibly
it's a big thing.
Yeah, big thing. Yeah, okay.
You get me to Marco, I could give him a little heads up.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think nonetheless, going off what you said about their recent form, I reckon it's going to be a 50-50. Considering we won their last season, they're only a point ahead of us in the table, and we're looking at not making it 4 losses in a row. I think we should be, as a team, we should be really fired up to go up there and do something. 3 losses in a row going into 4 losses isn't the type of form we should be in, considering the squad we have. I know we've got a lot of injuries and it hasn't been exactly the easiest start, but the mentality of the players and the manager and the team should be to go up there and go for it. And go for it. I mean, a football pitch is a football pitch, no matter where it is, home or away. I know they got a gradient, but
well,
but yeah, we should go up there with a positive mindset and take it to them. Why not?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, their form, George, is just kind of baffling. Like their defeat last week to Brighton was a bit weird. Obviously, Danny Welbeck rolling back the years. The player that looks especially dangerous for them, though, is Voldemard up front. He scored that outrageous goal at the Amex last week, the little back heel. I don't know if you saw he also did a back heel in the build-up to Newcastle's second last night against Benfica. I was just like, oh my God. Like, Newcastle fans are now starting to say, thank you, Liverpool. They're genuinely like, this is the best thing that's happened to this football club, is that we sold the rat for 125 million and brought in this absolute German beast. He does look good.
He's just a total striker, isn't he? Strong, skillful. He's got a beast of a finish.
Long
hair. He's got a character as well. That's why the Geordies have all taken to him so quickly. He's quite like an old school player in his outlook as well. He's like really physical and kind of like no nonsense. Like he had that incident a few weeks back where we could have gone down, perhaps like drawing a red or something, and he stayed on his feet. It's just not my game. He squared off with, who was it? Was it Silva, I think, in the Arsenal game? Anyway, what we'd give to have a player like him. Sort of like more, like he reminds me in many ways of kind of Mitro, but obviously he's slightly taller physical presence. But yeah, it'll definitely be one to watch. But I mean, I'm not sure who our centre back's going to be given the injuries, but we did well against Gyökeres last week. So if anyone can keep him quiet, then hopefully it'll be Anderson and whoever's starting with him.
Yeah, Anderson, Bassi, Diop, Cuenca, could be any of them. We'll come on to the Fulham lineup in a moment. Obviously, they played on Tuesday night, so there's a little bit of an advantage there for Fulham in the fact they played midweek. It's not huge. It's not. I think they play Wednesday night and then it's Saturday. I think it can be a real advantage. I'm sure Tuesday to Saturday is more than enough time for them to get some recovery. And it was interesting what you say there about the 4 defeats in a row, if it happens to be that, Youssef, because I think a win here is such a pressure reliever for that Wolves game, because I think you go into that I mean, they played Burnley this weekend at home, so I'm sure that's the one that they're really eyeing up as their first win of the season. But it wouldn't be beyond the realm of possibility for them not to win that. And then all of a sudden, you've got Fulham on forward, feet in the spin, Wolves still winless, and you've just got a really horrible, cagey game. If we could get a result, even just a draw, I think it would just like improve the mood, improve the atmosphere going into it. It's interesting what you say about Woltemade as well, because like, if you looked at his stats in the Bundesliga, he didn't score that many goals. And then I think it was the Bayern Munich president who kind of dismissed the move and said, oh, we wouldn't sign a player like that, was really snobby about it. It's a brilliant bit of scouting, though, from Newcastle. Just not to look at that, okay, he didn't score many goals, but he's got the right profile, he fits the team, he's exactly that. I just think it's a real smart bit of business and proof that maybe you don't always need to look at particularly a striker and be like, oh, if they haven't scored a 20-goal season in the Bundesliga, they're going to be absolutely useless for us. I think it's just it's a perfect fit for their team. I mean, you look at their side as well, and there's not a huge amount of weak points, particularly that midfield, which is still looking so strong. Guimaraes, Tonali, Joelinton. Did you see that? I literally saw this before we started recording. Tonali signed a new contract in secret.
In what do you mean?
So during his gambling ban, they've only found out, the Newcastle fans have only found out today that Tonali signed a new, they all thinking that Tonali might be off in the summer and that he might be available on a cut price deal. And it's been discovered today that he actually signed a contract during the gambling ban and he signed a 3-year deal and no one knew about it. The club didn't announce it.
Well, presumably because they didn't want to face backlash for like, why are you...
I don't exactly know why they didn't do it, but it's really, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that, like a club not announce a major contract renewal. Yeah. I assume it has something to do with the fact that they didn't want to put the spotlight on him or something while he was obviously recovering from, the gambling addiction that he has. I don't know, but
I can only assume it was done with the players' welfare in mind. It's actually quite a considerate thing to do, I'd imagine, because it's not only are you demonstrating your commitment to the player and be like, we've got your back, we'll help you through this, but also, keeping the limelight off while he's in recovery. I think I kind of like it. I don't know. I don't know all the facts, but I'm just
no. I know. I just was like, I was thinking it could be quite fun one day if, like, let's say, like everyone thought that like Rodrigo Muniz was going out of contract in the summer or something like that, and actually it just turned out like, oh no, he signed a contract last year. We just didn't tell anyone. It's just quite a fun move. I just wish that Newcastle had played that card when like someone came in with a really audacious low bid, and they were like, nah, he's on a 3-year contract. No, he's not. Yes, he is. Anyway, a bit of a weird one. Youssef, let's come on to Fulham and the potential lineup. I mean, we went back to the 4 at the back against Arsenal, which is a more natural fit for us. Away from home, he seemed to go, he quite likes the 5. He did it against Villa and Bournemouth. But it was fairly effective, the lineup that we found against Arsenal, albeit not the most creative. But I think part of that's down to the fact that they've got, the new Vidic and Ferdinand at the back. What do we think here? Because Leno in goal.
Mm-hmm. Looking at the Arsenal game, I know we were saying about who's going to start centre back. I'd like to see Bassi get back into the starting 11. I know potentially he was. People saying jet lag. I know he played international.
Yeah.
I think he was the only Nigerian player to play the full 90 minutes for all the games in national break. So he must have been a bit knackered going into that game.
Quite interesting to do that though, like to not the fact that he used Cuenca. But the thing is Cuenca played very, very well. It's annoying that they play the same position in lots of ways, isn't it? Because you'd almost love a centre back pairing of Bassi and Cuenca, but can you have 2 left footers? It doesn't. And we know what Bassi was like on the right side of centre back when he played there. So you'd go Bassi over Cuenca, would you?
I'd go Bassi over Cuenca. I think just because of he's been playing regularly. Even though Cuenca did play well, it's almost like a feeling I have just to play Bassi ahead of him.
Yeah. I agree for what it's worth, but it's like a reluctant agreement because I really, really like Cuenca, but I genuinely think Bassi's one of our best players.
It's almost like is that a game you gamble with starting Cuenca, even though he's had one good game. I think considering the situation we're going into 4 losses, I think that's what it is with me. I reckon because Bassi's tried and tested there, I think I'd rather put him at the back instead of Cuenca.
Yeah, I think Bassi gives you that sort of ability to break the line and sort of push the team forward as well, which he has over Cuenca in my opinion.
Yeah, although Cuenca kind of does that with these like really like crisp passing.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the thing for me with Bassi as well, if you've got Voldemard, who's a handful, Bassi generally is able to win the physical battle no matter who the striker is. And I always worry about Cuenca. Like, I think he's got great technique and I think he's a really neat passer. But I think you want a bit of muscle against Voldemard and their Bassi. The interesting one will be Anderson. We don't know his fitness really. I guess it's probably just a straight swap for Diop, right? If Anderson's not fit.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to have to be a straight swap for Diop. I mean, how many more injuries are we going to get?
Yeah, it's mad. We spoke about it on the pod, but against Arsenal, after Anderson went off, we were playing with a completely second fiddle back line against the league leaders. And we were only undone by, a scrappy corner goal. I think like the strength and depth in defence is incredible. However, we are literally on our last line of defence.
I would like to see George, if he was fit enough for the bench against Arsenal. I'd like to see Kenny Tete back at right back if possible against Anthony Gordon, ideally. Like, nothing on Castagna, but I do think that there was a couple of moments on Saturday where he was beaten quite easily. It didn't lead to goals, but it led to chances. And we all know obviously what happened in the Bournemouth game where he was his error for the Semenyo goal. Him and Leno. If Tete's fit, I'd like him to come back in ideally.
Oh, 100%. On his day, he's the best one-on-one right back in the league, in my opinion. Defensively, I think if he's fit, he plays. But I mean, that's a massive if, isn't it? But yeah,
if he's fit enough the bench though, last week he should be fit enough, hopefully, to start. Right? You'd have thought you can't be on the bench if you're not ready to play Premier League football unless you're Jonah Kusiasare. Centre mid. Now it was very interesting, Youssef, on the Jack and Joe show. They were both pushing hard for Alex Iwobi in centre mid. Obviously, Kearney got the nod against Arsenal. I thought Kearney was. It's so hit and miss, right? I think in some ways I'm like, such a good player on the ball. He seems calm. He always seems to have time. He's got a great touch. But I just think maybe this is time for Alex Iwobi, which frees up the left for Kevin. How do you feel about this?
I feel exactly the same way. After watching Alex, we've been playing him out wide for a while. I think to get the best out of him, because it's all about getting the best out of the players we have at the moment. And I think to get the best out of him is to put him in the middle. He seems to be a lot more comfortable on the ball. He drives forward with the ball better from central positions as opposed to being out wide. And, he's almost put me it's like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not put me in there and see what happens? Because we lack creativity. And if something's not working, we need to fix it. We can't just keep pushing the same sort of thing that's not working. Why not put him in the middle and see what happens?
Yeah. And particularly against this Newcastle midfield as well. We know that they're, three absolute warriors in the middle: Guimaraes, Tonali, Joelinton. And I wouldn't exactly say that Iwobi's a warrior, but he is tall and physical and stuff, and you just hope that he might be able to give at least some height into that central midfield position. Obviously it'll be Sandberg alongside him. Sasha Lukic was videoed in training today, by the way. Whether that means he's fit enough to play, who knows, but he was Fulham tweeted a training picture and Sasha Lukic was there, which is hopeful. Where did you come down on George Sandberg's performance? But he seems to be a real split amongst it. I thought, and I watched the game against Arsenal on the telly, I thought he was good. I really thought he had some nice touches of the ball, and there were lots of Arsenal fans saying, Sandberg looked good. But obviously there is just a big, I feel like, growing amount of Fulham fans getting frustrated with his lack of, well, I guess creativity. It's often so sideways. But I thought at times against Arsenal, I thought he looked really cool, calm and collected, and really, I thought he looked really nice on his own.
Yeah, I mean, he did a job, and he brought that kind of level head and sort of defensive stability, and obviously his physical presence as well. He didn't set the world alight, I don't think. And yeah, as you say, I think people feel like he isn't providing anything from an attacking perspective. He's the sort of player that you would miss him when he was gone. We say that about Lukic as well, is that a lot of the work that he does is the unglamorous side of our game. It's the recycling for the possession, it's, interceptions, it's all this kind of thing that can go just under the radar. I think it was a performance that didn't set the world alight, but he didn't do anything wrong in my opinion. But I think he is getting a bit of maybe unfair flack for his lack of, attacking creativity, because it's not his game. It's not the sort of player he is, I don't think.
No, it's just interesting that I felt like it used to be. Like when he was at Sheffield United and Burnley, I felt like, we literally saw it. He scored at the Cottage, didn't he? Like a marauding run. It's just like, but I do believe Youssef. I genuinely think he's doing exactly as instructed.
100%. He's good because he's doing the job he's just been given to do. Obviously, we're not in the change room. We don't exactly know what he's been given to do, but you can tell from watching the game, he's doing his job in the 11 for everyone else to do their job. I understand where people's coming from about their lack of creativity, and they want to see maybe someone from that position, ping a long ball to Kevin or someone when he comes on. But, you got to give him credit where it's due, and he's doing his job. And that's all we can ask for the players, I think he's doing all right. And
I think, to be honest, to me, if you do play Iwobi, then Sanderberg is doing his job.
Go.
In that sense, like, let Iwobi be the creative spark in the midfield, and like if Berg's a 6 and let him be a 6, the only thing I would say is, and maybe, and this is what like João Palhinha had, and maybe that's why the Fulham fans loved him so much, is João Palhinha wasn't afraid of a shot. You see, actually, I watched him play the game against Villa. He had so many shots. He loves nothing more than a crack from 25 yards. And maybe that's just what Sanderberg needs to do, is just occasionally he's in space, have a pop, Sander. Even if Marco tells you off later, just have a pop. And then...
So, to your point, though, it's like the systems in which, the system that Marco has cultivated is fairly rigid. Everyone has their unique role. There was a report recently to talk about City and Pep, that Pep would fine players 20 grand if they were to have a shot outside of 30 yards. Like, that's how strict they were within the, you have your role. So yeah.
Do you think Vincent Kompany got fined the 20 grand when he won the league against Leicester? Yeah. Pep was like, well done, Vincent, but 20 grand.
Coming out your pay packet.
And then I guess, I was going to say the other positions sort of pick themselves. We know that Josh King will be in the 10. For what it's worth, I would like to see Josh King and Emile Smith on the pitch at the same time. Seems that Marco doesn't feel the same way, so I don't know if there's much point trying to push it. Probably with Chukwueze out, you'd imagine Wilson on the right. I guess if Iwobi moves, then there is a space on the left. Is it time for Kevin to get a start? He's not exactly been excelling off the bench in recent performances.
I think he's been a bright spot coming off the bench. I know against Bournemouth, he wasn't exactly Maradona coming off the bench, you know what I mean? But he come on against Arsenal, and there was a few bright runs that he makes. And I think what he adds to the team is that we complain about no creativity, right? And when he comes on, the runs he makes sort of create maybe chances, maybe that spark in front of goal that we need, that attacking drive that maybe he's missing before he comes on. The only problem I have with that is if he was to start, would he have the same sort of impact? He's off the bench, he's fast, he's quick, he chases almost every ball in and around his area. If he was to start, maybe they'd work him out after 15 minutes, who knows? Do you know what I mean? So that's the only worry I have.
Yeah, I thought he looked good when he came off the bench against Arsenal. I think it was an improvement on some of the other substitute performances that he's made. I just there's an element of unpredictability with him, and like that, and therefore excitement. And the only way that we're going to see whether he can do it starting is by doing it. And yeah, as you say, Iwobi in the middle, space for Kevin on the left. I don't see any reason why not. Let's give it a go.
Yeah, and I guess what you can always do is, if you need to bring someone, you can always bring someone like Kearney on for Kevin. If Kevin's effectiveness is wearing off after 60 minutes, he's a bit gassy. You can bring on Kearney, put Iwobi back out to the left, and switch it up that way. So there are, or you can bring Smith Rowe on the left. Smith Rowe can do a job on the left. I guess it's the only other position where Smith Rowe, he could be the other option on the left if Iwobi goes central, but I feel like Kevin would be a bit upset if Smith Rowe gets chosen to go on the left. We know it will be Raul up front because there is no other option other than Raul Jimenez up front. Let's come on to some emails that we have got. This one from Mitchell, who says, "Hey guys, I know there's been a lot of talk about our lack of signing a midfielder, and I agree that we definitely should have signed at least someone. But do you think the recruitment team had the same thing in mind that Liverpool's team did for Rio and Gamoa, leaving a spot for him to come into the team later in the season?" He's obviously talking about Seth Ridgen for Fulham. Personally, Youssef, as excited as I am about Seth Ridgen, I don't think first team strategic planning is involving Seth just yet?
To be honest, I think the planning for the transfer window as a whole wasn't exactly the best. We left everything last minute. We upset the manager with it as well, and you need to plan for now. You know, like we're not a team that can maybe plan for when this player comes in or when that player comes in. We need to plan for now because we need to improve now. You know, the Premier League is such a league where one bad season you could be gone. You know, so we need to make sure we plan in accordance of playing well in the current season. And then if we have the luxury of maybe planning for seasons ahead, then we go for it. But I don't think now is the right time to sort of be planning like that.
Yeah. Clayton Bricklemeyer says, I'm headed to the Cottage in November for my second ever match. The first time I did the Golden Lion beforehand and walked through Bishop's Park, sat right in the middle of the hammy end. What's the play this time, in brackets, pub recommendation? So I like this from Clayton because Clayton's come to Fulham and he's played 4-4-2. He's gone to Fulham and he's done exactly what you should do, which is go to the Golden Lion and walk through Bishop's Park. That's it, right? But now, George, he's looking to change up the formation a little bit. Maybe it's 5 at the back. Maybe it's something even more obscure.
Yeah.
So what would be the play for this time? Because he's done the traditional.
I would say 5 at the back option, safe, not going to disappoint, is go to the Bricklayers beforehand. Beautiful pub, Putney side of the river. Just great selection of beers. Amazing. My opinion, best Guinness in London. Really traditional old English boozer. Walk over the bridge, walk around Bishop's Park, have a quick one at Bishop's.
This was my only flaw in your plan, is it involves Bishop's Park again.
No, I don't cut through Bishop's Park.
Well, enjoy the Palace Road.
Fulham Palace Road. And then do a mini.
In all of its delight. In all of its glory. The fish and chip shop, the lot.
Yeah. I'd say Brick for a pub recommendation. That's my favourite at the moment.
Youssef?
Where do you go, Youssef?
I'm normally in the Lion or the Fox and Hounds. Coach, I don't drink, just so you know. But
do a great range of non-alcoholics.
Yeah, non-alcoholics. So yeah, the Fox and Hounds or the Golden Lion is normally for me. One thing I'd recommend for him is if he does walk up from Vassar Road, is if he takes the left and he does, I can't remember the name of the road, but you know when you can see the Cottage?
Finley Street.
That's it. And he can walk down that road there, and that could be something different apart from walking through the park.
Yeah, it's an exciting view. Like, I love that, walking down Finley Street and you're like, yes, game day. Yeah.
See, my 4-2-3-1 for Clayton Bricklemeyer would be to the Hammersmith. It's where we are right now.
Oh, yeah.
We love Hammersmith. There's so many good pubs up here in Hammersmith, particularly on the river.
Chancellor's Duke.
Yeah, Old City Arms, loads of them. Craft Beer Co., our good friends at Craft Beer Co. And I would argue that the walk down from Hammersmith along the river is more beautiful than through Bishop's Park.
Hot take.
I agree.
Something about
I've got to agree.
Hammersmith Bridge, I think, provides a better vista. And you've got the old Harrods Furniture Factory on the opposite side. That'd be my thing. If he wants to change it up, play the Hammersmith route.
Yeah, second that.
And then, I mean, we obviously, Clayton, if you come a third and fourth time, we can really go down some
deep cuts.
Yeah, take a boat cruise, all of that, get the Uber boat up. Finally, we're going to do some questions here for Youssef. We've got some boxing scenario questions, effectively, for you that can kind of combine your career as a boxer. And obviously you will be a boxing champion once again, and obviously your love of Fulham home and away. So first of all, who would you choose, past or present Fulham player, to be your sparring partner?
Oh, it depends. Do I want a hard spar or do I want an easy spar?
Hard spar.
A hard spar. God, currently I'll go for Adama Traore.
Yeah.
Just because of the size of him, innit? Even though I'm not 10 bells out of me, but jab, innit?
Who'd you go for? I just want to hear what you'd say for this one.
Well, I'm not going to go for Adama Traore's either. I'd be dead.
It's ambitious.
I mean, it's pretty tough, right? Can I go for like Josh King or something like that? Just like, I mean, I think he'd still beat me up, but like, I think he'd be the best chance that I'd have.
Pick on someone your own size, Sammy. Come on.
Yeah.
The 18-year-old diminutive
Seth
number 10.
Ridgen, just like, or just any chance so I can come out of it alive, ideally.
Any other academy prospects?
Yeah. I can go down the age groups if I need to. Right, next one, Youssef. Fulham manager to be ringside with you during your fights. All time.
Oh, ringside. That's so much pressure, isn't it? I'm sort of trying to think who would give me the least pressure and who would give me the most. I'd love for Marcus Silva to be there.
Yeah.
Just obviously he's a current manager and stuff. But I'd love Roy Hodgson.
Yeah?
Someone like Roy Hodgson to turn up would be...
But I mean, I think this is in an active coaching role for you, though. Not just them to come watch. I think they're handing you the towel and giving you the bottle and all of that. Like, he's
a bit aggressive.
I don't know if that's Roy's bag.
Yeah, no, do you know what? I reckon, go on, Martin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Martin, yeah. He seems a bit aggressive, isn't he? Yeah.
Looks like a boxing coach.
Yeah.
He'd psych you up.
I just imagine, like, you're in the 8th rounds, you're taking some punches, you're sort of seeing double, you go into your corner, you just say, like, yo, Youssef, look his block off. If that's not the motivation you need, I don't know.
They never will be, innit?
Yeah. Also, he could be a bit like...
if let's say if Youssef's not that, fighting hard enough, I think you're taking the piss.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Well, I think you were.
Let's not take the piss here.
Yeah, Roy's a good answer, as is Yo.
Okay, if the Craven Cottage fight happens, what's your ring walk tune?
Oh,
I think about this question so much.
And you're not even a professional boxer.
No, I'm not, but I know what my walkout would be.
It's got to be too good to be true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be something. It's got to be, It's got to be something linked to the club.
I've got goosebumps thinking about that.
Not Viva El Fulham, the horns. Da, 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 da.
Do you know what? I always want a song that gets the crowd going. So I think the last fight I walked out to Freed from Desire first.
Yeah.
Then I walked out to Ain't Nobody.
Nice.
I walked out to that. So
Shaka Khan.
maybe something that gets Shaka Khan. Maybe something to get the crowd going.
Yeah.
Too good to be true, even though it's a bit slow. But
Push It by Salt and Pepper.
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. Obviously, like I heard your chant in the stands. There's White Stripes.
Yeah, White Stripes.
Youssef, come on.
You could also, like, there's other artists who are Fulham fans. You come out to an example tune, maybe. Lily Allen tune.
That's true, yeah.
Maccabees.
Black Midi. Yeah.
True.
There are a lot of options.
There's yeah.
Yeah. Felix White, mate. He's on the pod in a few weeks. We could get him to compose something for you. Just make the crossover happen. Fulham past or present player who you think would have the biggest punch on them?
Oh, past president have biggest punch in them.
I'm imagining, that thing you see at arcades where it goes, where
you get the numbers.
Yeah, you get the numbers.
Have you ever done one of them?
Yeah, do you know what? I used to do it a lot, like just so like have fun with my mates and that. But I nearly broke my hand on one of them.
Oh right.
So I'll pack it in. Now I don't do it.
Okay.
Like whenever I'm out and people see one, they always want me to do it. Oh, go on, Youssef, you go and do it. And I'm like, nah, might break my hand again.
Yeah.
But I really want to do it. But player that'll get the highest score. It's got to be a Dharma, innit?
You'd have thought so.
A Dharma, maybe someone like Bobby Zamora.
Yeah, I imagine he's got
any of the big lumps.
Mitro, I imagine he's got a
I thought Mitro might be your sparring partner.
Oh yeah. Did I think of him? Yeah.
Be quite a scrap though.
That'll be a scrap, yeah. He'd probably bite me, innit?
Fulham player who you think would be the best trash talker in a press conference?
Ooh.
Past or present?
Past or present. Maybe not the best trash talker, but I think Mitro would do something like in a face-off.
Yeah.
Push someone or something. He'd be someone that would really kick it off, innit?
Yeah.
We remember Derek Chisora throwing the table. I reckon he does something like that.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
I think Bullard would be, get in people's heads, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I guess he'd be like, he'd really wind you up, actually. If you were playing Jimmy Bullard, you'd be sick of it by the end of the promo. You'd be sick of him. Get rid of this guy. And finally, which current player do you think has the best chin?
Ooh.
Jimmy Hill back in the day.
Who's got the best chin? It's funny though, because almost like I choose someone and it's like saying everyone else doesn't have a good chin, innit? I'm gonna go with Calvin Bassey.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's rock solid at the back end. So
yeah. You can take it.
Yeah.
Take a bit of pain.
Definitely.
Maybe Burn Leno?
Maybe Bert Leno as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Being a goalie, yeah.
Love it. It's been so much fun. Youssef, thanks so much for coming on.
No, thank you for having me. I had a great time.
Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure.
It's so good, yeah. After like 10 years of exclusively soft boys. We've had an England international front row, and we've had a champion boxer. Like, we're really up in the hardness levels. I like it.
Youssef, what games are you going to coming up?
The next game for me will be Wickham away.
Yes.
I'll be at Wickham, yeah.
Big game. Big game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be fun,
Big
that.
game.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. George, thank you.
Yeah, cheers. A lot of fun.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're going up to Newcastle, best of luck with the travels. Hope you get there safely. And hopefully Fulham give you something to celebrate. And for those watching on the telly, hope you have a great weekend as well. Come on, you Whites.